It started on my commute. I take the train into the city every day. Same time, same car, same seat when I can get it. I'm a creature of habit, which is probably why I noticed the phone right away. It was sitting on the seat across from me one morning, just lying there, screen down, no case. I picked it up and looked around. No one seemed to be paying attention. No one reaching for their pockets. I figured someone had just gotten off and left it behind. There was no passcode. That should have been my first red flag. I opened it, hoping to find contact information or maybe an emergency number. Instead, it booted straight to the home screen. No notifications, no wallpaper, just a black background and a few basic apps. Everything looked wiped, except for the photo album. There was only one folder, no title, just the default photos label. I tapped it. There were exactly 27 pictures inside. At first, they looked random. Blurry shots of empty rooms, some parking lots at night, the corner of someone's living room, badly lit. A few of them were completely black. One looked like it had been taken from under a bed. Then I saw one that froze me. It was me. Not looking at the camera. Just me, sitting on the train. Same jacket I had on that morning. Same backpack. I checked the timestamp. It was taken yesterday. And I swear to you, I never saw anyone take that picture. I sat there staring at the screen, my thumb hovering over the home button like touching it would burn me. My own face, on a phone I'd never seen before, taken while I was just minding my business on this exact same train. I flipped back to the photo before it. Another shot from the train. Same car, different angle. Blurry, slightly tilted, like it was taken while walking past. And the one before that, my apartment building, nighttime. The windows were dark except for mine. I hadn't told anyone where I live. I scrolled quickly through the rest of the album. More photos of my building, my floor, my door. One taken through the peephole, as if whoever had the phone was standing just outside. My stomach turned. I felt the world tilting slightly sideways. The last image was timestamped 2:12 a.m. last night. It was a picture of me sleeping. I know what my bedroom looks like. I know how my pillow crumples under my head and how I tend to twist my blanket up when it's cold. That picture wasn't taken from outside a window. It was taken from inside the room, feet away, close enough to hear me breathe. I nearly dropped the phone. My eyes darted around the train car, scanning faces. Everyone was locked into their own world. Headphones, books, phones. No one looked at me. No one stood out. I slipped the phone into my coat pocket. I don't know why I took it. Instinct, maybe. Proof that I wasn't losing it. The moment I got off the train, I went straight to the security office in the station. I told them I'd found a phone and that someone might be stalking me. They said they'd check the cameras and keep the phone in lost and found. I handed it over and gave them my information. But I haven't stopped thinking about it. Especially because when I checked my own phone later, there was a new photo in my camera roll. Me, from the back, taken that morning, on the train. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that photo, my own back, hunched in the train aisle, headphones in, totally unaware. The timestamp matched perfectly. It was taken minutes before I found the other phone. Whoever took it had been right there, following me, close enough to reach out and tap me on the shoulder. I triple-checked my apartment that night, locked the door, latched every window, slid a chair under the doorknob like I was in some cheap horror movie. I even pulled out the old baby monitor my sister left at my place months ago when she visited with her kid. Hooked it up in my bedroom just to feel like I had eyes open while I slept. The thing hadn't been used in forever, but it still worked. I placed the camera on top of my dresser and set the monitor next to my bed. It clicked to life with a low hum of static, and a grainy black and white feed of my room appeared on screen. I must have drifted off sometime after 4 a.m., but not for long. At 4:47 a.m., the monitor snapped me awake with a loud burst of static, followed by a pop. Then the feed lit up. At first, I thought it was just glare, a trick of the night vision. But then I saw the movement. It was subtle, a shadow in the far left corner of the screen, not coming from me, not shaped like me. It shifted just enough to confirm it was a person, or something pretending to be one. It leaned just slightly forward, then froze. I bolted upright and looked across the room. Nothing. Empty. I grabbed the monitor and rewound the footage. The playback showed my bed, me tossing slightly, then the static, then, there, the dark shape, and then it was gone. I didn't sleep again. I just sat on the edge of the bed with the lights on until the sun came up. When I finally got the courage to check the monitor again around 6 a.m., the feed was completely blank. No signal, just static. I didn't tell anyone. What was I supposed to say? That I saw something on an old baby monitor? That someone had been watching me in my sleep, but conveniently vanished before I could prove it? I already felt half insane. I didn't need other people looking at me like I was losing it too. Instead, I went through the motions. Showered. Got dressed. Left the apartment like I wasn't terrified of what I might find when I came back. But the whole day, I couldn't stop thinking about it. That shadow. The static. The way the shape leaned just slightly toward the monitor. Like it knew. By the time I got back home that evening, the sun was going down and my anxiety had ramped back up. I checked the baby monitor again. Still no signal. I even tried moving the camera, unplugging and replugging it, resetting the feed. Nothing. Then, around 8:12 p.m., my phone rang. No caller ID. Just unknown. I didn't want to answer it. Every instinct told me not to. But I did. Hello? There was silence. No static, no breathing. Just a weird kind of emptiness on the other end. Like someone was there, listening, but holding their breath. Then a voice. Quiet. Flat. Why'd you give it back? I froze. My grip tightened around the phone. Who is this? I asked. The voice didn't answer right away. Just that faint crackle in the background. Then, you weren't supposed to give it back. The line went dead. I stared at the screen. The call had lasted 13 seconds. I stood in the middle of my living room for what felt like forever, trying to process, trying to think. They knew I gave the phone to the security office. They were watching. Still watching. I didn't sleep that night either. Every creak in the hallway, every buzz from the fridge, every whisper of wind through the cracks in my window. It all sounded like footsteps, like breathing, like someone just on the other side of the door. I kept the lights on, sat on the couch with my knees pulled up, watching the front door like it might open on its own. I had no idea who called me, or how they knew what I'd done. But that voice, it wasn't angry. It wasn't even emotional. It was disappointed. Like I'd failed some kind of test I didn't know I was taking. I didn't leave the apartment all the next day. I ignored every call, every knock. My boss texted me, then called, asking why I hadn't shown up for work. I didn't answer. What was I going to say? Around 6 p.m. I found myself pacing. I checked the baby monitor again. Still static. Out of desperation, I went online and looked for a number to the train station's security office. I didn't trust going back in person. I wanted to ask if they still had the phone, if anyone had come to claim it. But when I finally got through, the guy on the other end sounded confused. "There was no phone turned in yesterday," he said. I blinked. I handed it to someone. Big guy, beard, blue uniform shirt. A pause. "No one matching that description works here." The line went quiet for a second longer than it should have. Then, "Sir, are you sure you brought it to the right office?" I hung up. That night, around 11:47 p.m., I got another call. Same as before. Unknown. I didn't answer this time. I couldn't. I just stared at the screen until it stopped ringing. Then a text came in. Just one sentence. "Don't turn around." I was alone in my apartment, or at least I thought I was. I didn't move. The phone slipped from my hand and landed on the carpet with a dull thud. My ears were ringing. My heart felt like it was rattling around in my chest. I wanted to tell myself it was a prank, someone spoofing my number, some sick joke. But deep down, I knew better. I stayed frozen on the couch, every muscle clenched, barely breathing. The silence in the room grew louder by the second. My eyes locked on the far wall, terrified that if I turned even slightly, I'd see something I couldn't unsee. But nothing happened. No footsteps. No whisper. Just me. And the hum of the baby monitor across the room, still stuck on static. I finally moved. Not a turn, just a slow shuffle forward to grab the phone. I picked it up and opened the message again, like maybe I'd read it wrong. "Don't turn around." Still there. Same timestamp. Still no contact listed. I had to do something. Sitting there paralyzed wasn't going to save me if someone, or something, was in the apartment. I stood up slowly, legs trembling under me. My knees cracked with the effort. I walked to the kitchen first, grabbed a knife. Not because I thought it would help, just because it felt better than having nothing. Then I moved from room to room. Bedroom, empty. Bathroom, empty. Closets, nothing but dust, boxes, and a few jackets. Even the hallway outside my door was still and quiet. I came back into the living room, still gripping the knife like it might do something against whatever I thought I was dealing with. Then the baby monitor clicked. Not static, just a click. Sharp and sudden. Then silence. The screen went completely black for a second, and then it flicked back on. The camera feed showed my living room. Not my bedroom. The living room. The one I was standing in. Same couch, same lamp, same front door, except I wasn't in the frame, and I should have been. I blinked. I leaned forward, still staring at the monitor screen like it might change if I looked hard enough. The camera feed was static-free, clear, real-time, but I wasn't there. The image on screen showed the room exactly as it was. The coffee table, the TV stand, the front door slightly ajar from my earlier paranoia-fueled check. Same lighting, same shadows, except no me. I moved my arm slowly, waving the knife just slightly in front of where the monitor should be capturing. Nothing. On the screen, the space where I stood was just empty air. I set the knife down and walked directly in front of the camera. Still nothing. I was invisible. I reached out and unplugged the camera from the wall. The screen blinked once and went dead. Then the doorbell rang. I froze. It was a single chime, short, sharp, not repeated. I waited. My phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out slowly. Another message. Come see. No number. No name. I stepped cautiously toward the door. I didn't open it. I leaned just enough to peek through the peephole. There was someone standing there. But it wasn't a person. Not exactly. The shape was human, but off. Too tall, too still. Wearing clothes that didn't quite fit, like they'd been chosen by someone trying to mimic a person. A hoodie pulled tight around a face I couldn't quite see. And then, slowly, it raised its arm and held something up to the peephole. It was the phone. The same phone I gave away at the train station. Except now, the screen was on, facing me, showing a live feed of my apartment from inside. And this time, I was in the frame, standing at the door, staring out. I stumbled back from the door like it had burned me. That screen, that impossible screen, it was showing me, from a few feet behind where I actually stood, the living room furniture, the coat rack, and me, frozen in place, face half lit by the porch light bleeding in from the hallway. I didn't look back. Couldn't. I ran to the kitchen and grabbed my keys. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped them twice, trying to stuff them into my jacket pocket. I didn't care about the lights, the knife, or the camera. I just needed out. I threw the door open. The hallway was empty. No tall figure. No phone. Just silence and the dim hum of fluorescent bulbs. I backed out slowly, checking each end of the hall. Still no one. But I knew that whatever had been at my door wasn't just gone. It was somewhere, watching. I left the building without locking the door. I couldn't think straight. My feet carried me blocks before I realized I had no idea where I was going. I ended up at a 24-hour gas station, crouched behind the building like a fugitive, trying to breathe. When I finally checked my phone again, it had powered itself off. I didn't remember doing that. I didn't remember anything between the apartment and now. I powered it back on. There was one new photo in my gallery. I almost didn't open it. My thumb hovered over the thumbnail, heart pounding. It was another picture of me. Outside. Taken from behind the gas station. Right where I was crouched. Only this time, I wasn't alone in the frame. Something was standing behind me,